My friends, Eric Andres, your guitar sage here, and today I'm going to show you eight things that every guitar player, as every electric guitar player, should have in order to round out their playing. Some important pieces here that are really going to make the whole experience of owning an electric guitar so much better. How do I know this? I've been playing for a few years, almost 40 now, so almost 40 years, not 40 years old, I wish. I've been playing for almost 40 years here, so I know a few things, and I've asked other guitar players as well, other electric guitar players, and this is the list that I've come up with, 8. So here we go, in no particular order. An adjustable capo. Here we go. An adjustable capo. Why? Now you won't see folks use the capo very often on the electric guitar, typically because bar chords are easier to play on the electric than the acoustic. But with that being said, once someone understands the concept of how the capo works, obviously it's a clip and it goes on your guitar. We can transpose with it, that sort of thing. For those that don't know that, it basically acts as the nut, and we can transpose and play our same chords that we're so accustomed to playing and so used to playing, but we can change keys with it very easily. All right, but understanding how to use this so where we keep everything in the feel of G major and C major makes things so much easier. My friends, get yourself an adjustable capo and understand how to use that capo to transpose and everything else. I have lots of videos on this sort of thing. The quickest way to get it is to go to the free course that's in the description of this video. You'll see a link that says something about YourGuitarSage.com/30, the top 30 lessons I teach all my students. And one of those bits in there is I tell you how to use a capo, how to understand changing keys, along with a PDF graph that'll show you whatever key you're in, what kind of feel, that sort of thing. It's going to help you and to know what chords are in that specific key, okay? And with that being said, adjustable. Why adjustable? Because the strings on an electric guitar are a little bit thinner than on the acoustic, and the whole guitar is just a lot more sensitive in regards to tuning and that sort of thing. So if you take a typical clip-on capo that's not adjustable, a lot of times it'll press the strings down too much and you will hear a difference. So for instance, you can hear it, I can press down, and if I press down hard enough, it goes out of tune just a little bit, but it's enough to where it's annoying. It changes the sound, the tuning of your chords and what have you. So not good. That's why the adjustable capo, what you do is you can tweak it with some sort of device, some sort of part on it. This one's a Planet Waves. And by the way, all the gear that I'm mentioning to you right now, if you want to specifically go to it, the quickest way to do it, there's a link in the description of this video, something along the lines of kit.com/YourGuitarSage. That's my kit store where you can get any of this stuff, okay? So feel free to check that out. All my recommendations for acoustic, electric, amps, guitars, accessories, check that out. So this specific one is a Planet Waves, and it's got a little tuner on it as well, which makes it nice because once you put on a capo on the electric guitar, sometimes you have to tune it a little bit differently. Okay, that one took a little longer than I wanted it to, but here we go. We're gonna fly through the rest of this. Okay, an assortment of picks. Okay, here's one of my pick boxes. I've got lots of these floating around the house where I've got hundreds of picks, different types of picks from different manufacturers, different flavors, different feels, different sounds, different shapes, different thicknesses, different materials. Some have grip on them, some of them don't have grip, but nonetheless, for all different ways of playing, for different styles of music, I end up using different types of picks. with that being said, and without going into all the details about that, because you can get that in my free course and a lot of my other courses where I talk about that stuff in detail, suffice to say that sometimes you're going to go for a thinner pick over a thicker pick. Usually on the electric guitars, it'll be a little bit thicker, like a medium to heavy gauge is fine. Sometimes when they get much thicker than that, they can be a little bit obnoxious for me, for my taste. But again, you may love that, and there are players out there that do. So get an assortment of picks, typically medium to heavy on the electric guitar, because you're doing more intricate stuff. But I promise you, get 10 bucks, 10, 20 bucks, and get yourself a lot of different picks, because they will serve you throughout your playing, okay? Number 3, a clip-on tuner. This one specifically is a Snark, S-N-A-R-K. They have them in black, they have them in red, blue, doesn't matter what the color is. They're fairly cheap, somewhere around 8 bucks, 10, 12 bucks. Clip-on tuner allows you to put the tuner onto the guitar like this and to be able to tune. And the cool thing is that you don't need, this tuner doesn't need to hear the guitar. So it's got a microphone on it, but you can see there that we're tuning it, and there's no way it's just hearing that, because that's not very loud at all. So it works on vibration, and that's really important, because if you're in a venue where there's a lot of superfluous noise going on, you've got something that's still going to hear your guitar, still going to tune it, and you're not hearing other instruments, or it's not hearing other instruments, or talking, or the radio, or something like that, where the needle's going crazy, okay? So get yourself a good clip-on tuner. This specific one is a Snark, S-N-A-R-K. You can find that in the store as well, in the kit store, in the description of this video. A tube amp. Why a tube amp? So tube versus analog. This is an analog amp. This is a tube amp. I've got two tube amps in here. I prefer tube amps, and most electric guitar players do as well, because there is a dynamic range that they provide. What I mean by dynamic is how loud or quiet something is. And when you are playing a standard solid state amp, you're not going to get that same dynamic range. Your louds aren't going to be that loud, and your quiets aren't going to be that quiet. And so it's not as reflective, it's not as emotional as your playing is. So if you're playing very quiet, the tube amp's going to react to you differently. They're also much, much louder, and the tone is typically going to be better in a tube amp. So again, I have recommendations in the store. I have owned lots of tube amps and some solid state amps. Again, love tubes. The sound so much better. And that's not just me who says that. There's a lot of guitar players, and I'm not one to say that something sounds good when it doesn't. I don't go on, I play no-name guitars, and I play expensive brand-name guitars. So that doesn't matter to me, but I can hear a very big difference with tubes. With that being said, this here is a Fender Blues Junior, and it's about the most affordable, bang-for-your-buck, amazing amp. Why am I playing it when I can afford something a lot more expensive? Because it's that good. And you can get these things used for about $300 to $400 on Craigslist and eBay. You might have to do a couple mods. There's tons of folks doing that on YouTube, or put in different tubes or something. But honestly, just straight out of the box, I've never played one of these straight out of the box that I didn't absolutely love. In this case here, I have a lot of my pedals and what have you driving it, so if I want to change the color of it and make it more distorted or cleaner, I would do that with the pedals. But just for driving the music and driving the guitar and making it loud, absolutely a magnificent amp, tube amp in this case. Blues Junior, and you should find that in my kit store as well. Okay, choice overdrive. What I mean by choice overdrive is one that suits your ears. Once you have your guitar picked out, right, which we'll talk about that in a minute, you need a good electric guitar, but we'll mention that one in a minute. Once you have a good electric guitar, then you need to have a good overdrive. If you're playing that sort of music, most folks want to dirty up their sound a little bit, right? We got clean sounds like this, and then we got more overdrive sounds like this. So we want to be able to do that because so much of music calls for that sound. So a nice overdrive, distortion, fuzz, whatever you want to call it. Those are all three different distinct pedals. If you want to know more about that, you can check out my pedal board tour here on YouTube. Just type in YourGuitarSage pedal board. Otherwise, a good overdrive. My favorite is the OCD Overdrive by Fulltone, Fulltone. Specifically, I like the version 3. To me, it just sounds the best, and it's a great, great, great sounding stomp box that I can get lots of different sounds out of, but the one or two sounds that I use all the time are absolutely bonkers and amazing, and I love that pedal. And I have the choice of any pedal that I want, so that's my personal favorite. So a good overdrive pedal. Okay, number 6, a nice multi-pedal. And when I say a multi-pedal, is one that does lots of different types of effects. Now, there's a few folks on the market that are doing this, but the one that pops up to the top of the list all the time because of ease of use, how many effects it has in it, price point, whole 9 yards, and I have one sitting right here in my pedal board that you could see in that pedal board tour, YourGuitarSage pedal board, look that up on YouTube, is the Line 6 M5. Line 6 M5, Line 6, and the pedal is named an M5. They have an M5, an M9, and an M13, but the M5 is the most affordable one. I have an M13 as well that has more pedals in it. This one only has one effect at a time, whereas like the M9s and the M13s have 3 and 4 effects at a time. So depending on what it is that you want to do, is depending in your price point, depends on which pedal you want. For me, this was perfect because this one pedal fits into my pedal board with a lot of other pedals, maybe 15 other pedals, but it's my Swiss Army knife of pedals in that it does delay, reverb, overdrives, distortion, fuzz, a myriad, I believe over 100 different effects, and this is great. So it's like I don't use it all the time. Well, actually, it's on all the time. I do use it all the time for something, either a noise gate or a particle reverb or something like that. But nonetheless, it's a great education in pedals, and it's for the bang for the buck. It's amazing. I believe I paid about $120 for it. The absolute most pedal you'll ever get for the rest of your life by the Line 6 M5. I wish I had stock in it because I've turned so many people onto it. It's such a great pedal, and I have no vested interest in it other than to get you the right equipment, okay? That should be in my kit store as well, link in the description. Okay, obviously, a good electric guitar, we talked about this. Or we didn't talk about it in detail, but we need to talk about it. A good electric guitar. Now, if you watch videos 1 and 2 of my free series that I'm giving you, that's also in the description of this video, the top 30 lessons I teach all my students, the first 2 lessons in there are how to choose an acoustic guitar and how to choose an electric guitar. And it may surprise you because you, after watching these videos, will have the skills to do this. You don't have to know about tone woods and this, that, and the other thing. All that stuff is good to know later on. But in the beginning, there's only really 3 things that matter. Number 1, can you afford it? If your budget is $500, you don't want to be looking at $5,000 guitars unless you're just doing it for the education to see if you can hear a difference, and that's good. Do that. But don't be seriously thinking about a $5,000 guitar if you only have $500 at the moment, right? You need a guitar, get something in your price range. So what I suggest is looking at all the guitars in your price range, and listening and feeling. Those are the 2 other things that are absolutely important. If it doesn't feel right to you, or if it doesn't sound right to you, put it away. There's a million guitars out there today, and a million more are going to be birthed tomorrow. Okay, so an unlimited supply of guitars. Don't settle on something. And also, don't pick the red guitar just because it's red and pretty and shiny and may have sparkles in it or something like that. Pick something that sounds good and feels good. Those are the 2 most important things, and of course it needs to fit your price range. I have suggestions in the kit store as well. I love some for a lower price guitar, Epiphone, or say like a made in Mexico Strat, Fender Stratocaster. Those are 2 of my main recommendations. But again, check out the store. And the last thing, and this isn't something that is in the store, it's something that you're going to have to find, is a good luthier to set your guitar up. A good guitar repair person, okay? A luthier is someone who builds and repairs guitars. And why is that important? Because it's kind of like owning a car and never taking it to the shop. And you're like, why does this thing run so bad? And they're like, oh, well, you've had the car for 50,000 miles, you've never changed the oil, and your wheels are flat because you've not put any air in it. Is that true about guitars? It is. There's things that can be done to it. Typically, once they're set, and you can go unless you have lots of fluctuations in the weather. humidity and heat, cold, that sort of thing, that can adjust and move your guitar around a little bit. But with that being said, a good luthier is great, because what they're going to do is they're going to look at the nut, they're going to look at the bridge, they're going to make sure the neck is straight, they're going to make sure that your frets are even, that the pickups are adjusted the correct way, that your wiring is all correct, and there's no issues with it. Okay, once you do that, you may take a $200 guitar, and now it plays like a $2,000 guitar. Vice versa, you could have a $2,000 guitar that, if it's not set up, might play and sound terribly because it's not set up correctly. Needs to be. One would think that it would come that way from the factory. Some guitars do. Most guitars come with a minimal amount of setup, but the more expensive guitars come with better setups. That's why when you walk in the store and you play those more expensive guitars, they just feel and sound amazing. Okay, my friends, those are the 8 things that I have for you today that every electric guitar player should have or do. Okay, listen, friends, I'm here to help you. I am so passionate about guitar. I love teaching it, and I kind of have a knack for it. I believe I do. This is what I do for a living, so it's got to be working for somebody, right? I have tons of free stuff for you. My free course at YourGuitarSage.com/30. The top 30 lessons that I would teach you if you came to me here in Nashville, which people request that all the time, and I say, that's fine, we can do that, but my time is really limited, and I'm giving it to you for free here with that one link. Literally same studios, same head, same guitars, same guy teaching you. Check that out, YourGuitarSage.com/30, the top 30 lessons I teach all my students. Okay, so check that out. Lots and lots of free stuff to give you weekly at our live broadcast that we do on Facebook at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on Thursdays. Also, live broadcasts once a month where we give thousands of dollars of goodies away, including guitars. In fact, I'm giving this guitar away tomorrow. My personal Fender Stratocaster custom shop, 50s classic with hand-wound pickups. Yes, I'm giving it away tomorrow. This video will be out way after that is over. But don't worry, because we do new guitars every single month, and you have lots of chances to win. And we give away courses, lifetime subscriptions to my Unstoppable Guitar System. You can find more out about that below as well. Please, friends, let me know how I can help you. I'm on Twitter and Facebook and all those places, and I'd love to help you out there as well. I answer as many comments as I possibly can. I can't get to them all, but I try to get to as many as possible. So leave those comments below. What would you like to see from me? What did I miss in this list that maybe you would like to mention? Please let me know. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be. I'm just here to help you. So please, friends, leave those comments below. Thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm here for you. Please let me know how I can help. Be kind to all beings. Don't trust the man. I'll see you in the next video. Practice that guitar.